Social influencers are people that have mass audiences with high engagement in social media platforms, and then they're working with brands and products to help them for a discovery. That's like in general what we'll speak about. Quick one about myself, VP strategy at the Glispa, global mobile marketing company. What's unique about Glispa is one, we're truly global with 8 offices in the world, employees from 50 different nationalities, and campaigns in I believe in most in the countries in the world. And second, we're really investing in the tech component with our own tools for developers, our SDK, API, data platform, and etc. Founded in 2008 by Gary Lean. So let's speak about social media, because that's the basic for what we'll speak today, in what happens in 1 minute in the internet around social platforms. So Snapchat, 500,000 photos every minute. Emails, 150 million every minute. Amazon, almost 200K in sales in 1 minute. And it's really crazy. YouTube, 2.7 million viewers in 1 minute. Just to understand the perspective of how big this social media channels are and how really we can take advantage of that. I mean, from a different overview, we have 7 billion people in the world, and we have, in terms of unique mobile users, I would say half of them. Internet is pretty similar to mobile because everybody uses mobile, but then social media is really, really high. 1/3 of the people in the world are engaged on a monthly basis in a social media channel, at least one. So when I think about reach, that's basically most of the interesting users in the world. And also in terms of growth, because just a standalone number is not enough. Maybe there was a trend of social when Facebook launched, but now it doesn't change. So actually, it grows and grows fast, in specific in mobile. So you'll see that the growth in mobile social media is almost double in other social media channels. So if we saw in the beginning why social is big, here I want to show you why social in mobile is huge. Now, why do we need this? What's wrong in the classical distribution channels we have today? So first, lack of transparency. That's a big one, and I mean, all of the developers here that worked with companies to promote their products feel this transparency topic. Ads that are not that their viewability is problematic. Ad blockers, that's a huge one. For me, if 25% of the people in the world use ad blockers, that's an indication that there's a problem in ad tech. There's a problem that people don't see the ads they want to see. People don't like the ad formats they see. And on top of that, also there's a big fraud topic, which a year before it was 6 billion, so it just goes and increases. So there are problems with the current channels. I mean, in some ways, they're really good, and companies see great results. But in some cases, they're problematic. Now, what goes right in the influencer topic? First, ROI. Companies that do influencer marketing see X6 on the dollars that they spend. And not only they have this crazy ROI, but also they increase their communities. Because if I'm promoting via Snapchat, and we'll go soon to talk about the specific platforms, not only I have a super positive ROI, but also I'm building my community. I'm building my audience. And then I can interact with them directly without the need of the influencer that helped me on the beginning to build that audience. And surveys claim that 60% of the marketers today spend money on influencers. And for 20% of them, that's the main channel they spend today. Top richest YouTube celebs, and in the end of the presentation, I'll show you some of their names. I guess that 90% of you have no clue who they are. I know a guy from LA, 15 years old. He's doing 100K a month on promoting big brands. A funny story about him is that we did a campaign for Fiat in the past, and he came home late. So he got a punishment from his mother. He can't open his computer the day after. So we canceled the 50K Rolex campaign. A true story. So these guys are doing a lot of money, and let's really understand their world, who's really, really different than the world that we know or we're familiar with. First, what's unique about this kind of advertising is that the people, the end users, don't see it as ads. They see it as content discovery because it's from a person I trust, one. Second, it's not a typical ad. He's just showing me this cool product he's using. So he's just helping me to discover cool and new products. So then, the chances I would want to use it are higher. People trust people. So, and the next slide is one, if you want to remember something for this lecture, is the next slide, why this topic works. First, the audience is super targeted. I mean, if there's a product fit. So, if I have my Snapchat community, and I know exactly who they are, and there's a product that I can promote, that the synergies to that community are very high, the audience is very targeted. Second, these people, their opinion has a lot of value. If I'm YouTube's celeb, people will trust what I tell them. Now, these young fellows, their engagement is amazing. It's massive. So, also you get here not only the targeting, but also very high engagement. And these people can really help your brand awareness, because if your product is related to them, you are already in a better position with their target audience, with their people. So people will share what they share. So you have advocates for free working for you. Champions, that's how they call them. So what's the main differences with the traditional marketing efforts most of us use today versus this new and cool topic? First, volume and scale. If I'm working with 10 influencers and each one of them has 1 million people in their audience, I already have 10 million people listening to me. That's a huge audience in terms of scale. Second, let's speak about App Store ranking. That's a topic we all are very familiar with, and there's a lot of ways to do burst campaigns and ways to increase organic installs from higher ranking. These people have a very good way, and even better way in some cases, to help you here. Because they can give you the scale, but they can give you top quality, which is higher than, for example, instant traffic. In terms of LTV, we all know that organic installs, that's the most quality users one can have. Why? Because if a person installs Uber with no ad, meaning he wants to use Uber. So there's a good chance that this user will be highly engaged. What we see is in influencers is that the end users are as engaged as organic installs. And why is that? Because from the first place, they didn't see it as an ad. They wanted to see this product. And with the scale and the quality, you can reach very high ROI. Now, a very, very important topic is to choose the right channel. I mean, all of us know that Snapchat is very cool-y, everybody wants to use it, engagement is massive. Engagement in Snapchat is 4 times than in Twitter. So maybe all of us should do Snapchat campaigns. That's wrong. Because if my audience is not the Snapchat audience, I'll fail here. If I'm not in the place to target young adults, not sure Snapchat is the right platform for me. And then it also comes from the ad format perspective. YouTube is more a video game, Instagram is more pictures oriented, and Twitter there's only characters as the main product. Be very careful to understand what platform is the right platform for you. Take into consideration budgets, scale, brand awareness. So let's speak about 6 key things. Actually, it was 15, but then I thought to decrease it so we can really focus on the core things. So you can hopefully remember them, use them, and take actions with them. So what's more important when I choose my celebrity I will work with, or my virtual celebrity? How big is his audience, or how engaged his audience is? And here, a lot of people take wrong actions, because engagement is much more important than audience. The only reason I want a big audience is to get more engagement, to get more impressions, more viewability for my product. But a smaller community that is super engaged not only can give me the same traction, but also can give me more loyal users. So that's an important one. Check the engagement level of that community, not only how big they are. So instead of asking you how many Twitter followers you have, what's the engagement level on average for each follower you have? We spoke about platform type a bit. Again, we can speak all day just about the differences in the platforms, but this gives you a general understanding of some of the considerations you want to think when choosing that. This is a really, really important one. Product believers. One of the main reasons why influencers succeed is because of authentication. The audience feels that the celebrity is really authentic. What Snapchat brought to the world is a different level of authentication. Some of the Snapchat celebs can basically picture 24/7 of their day. So it feels more natural. There's no way to edit the photos you upload there. It's what you picture, straightforward. If the product would not fit the celeb, it will not work. Because in a second, the audience will understand that it's an ad, that there's money involved here, that it's not, the authentication is not real here. Creative. That's a tough one, because there is the brand, Rolex, that wants to work with his rules of the brand rules for Rolex. There's very strict rules as a big corporation. And on the other side, we have the influencer that has his rules. My audience never sees videos, they only see pictures. Now, if Rolex wants a video, that's problematic. And it's even more problematic when big brands think with money they can buy everything. So they'll come to the influencer and tell you, hey, I'll pay you 10 times, put this video. And if the influencer will agree, he's doing a mistake. Because that's not what his audience wants to see. They want him. They don't want the money from the corporation here. So the middle ground between what the influencer feel comfortable with the rules from the brand or the product are key here to find a middle ground. Long-term relationship. If the same brand works with the same influencer for a while, the authentication level is higher. The product is related to that influencer, which will generate better results. And geographic. Influencer from Mexico, I would guess, just assume his audience is not only Mexico, it's all the Spanish, LATAM countries. So I can think from that perspective. It's not from the geo perspective, it's not from the country perspective, it's more from a language perspective, a culture perspective. There are a lot of companies in this field. Vol2 is the company we launched at Glispa, but the goal of my presentation here is not to speak about Vault2, it's more about a general, informative session about this topic. The platforms differ from each other, and we'll not go into deep analysis here, but you can feel free to contact me and we can speak about that. There's one, Soup, which is a bit different, and we'll speak about them a bit later. So, Vault2, in 3 main points, what we try to achieve here, it's fully transparent. There's no middleman, it's just the advertiser with the product and the influencer. And the optimization here is in real time with our tech solution we built here. We have some key statistics on how we work, what geos we work, and where the influencers come from. And here I wanted to give you some examples of campaigns from other companies. This is from Boost Insider on an app they worked with, and see, the goals are the same goals. To increase downloads, to optimize the in-app purchase, it's the same goals, but from a different way of doing that with posts, likes, shares, and end-of-day impressions. This is an interesting one because this app tried to do a Snapchat campaign, failed, and then gave this 16-year-old Snapchat influencer for 2 days to manage the account for them. And all what she did was 2 days to show her daily routine where the product was involved. And this went massive. I mean, with 15 snaps, they got 6K views who were super engaged, and half of them shared that, and then it's like, the viral effect was massive here. And there's more campaign. This is a Facebook campaign, but so influencer marketing sounds amazing. What's the main problems here? Why is not everybody doing that? So, few main topics. One is attribution. Because there is no really full service for attribution and measurement in this world, this is a big problem. I mean, in Instagram, you can have a link in your bio, a measurable link, but it's not in the feed. So, it's one topic. But, for me, not everything needs to be measurable. I know in ethics that's a very, very bad thing, very bad thing to say. I mean, if there was the ethics community, they will fire me just by saying that. But if I can do a X7 ROI, then maybe it's okay. And just from the measurable links, I have a X2 on my ROI, still a positive ROI, then maybe it can still work. Main ways that campaigns be measured here are around the tools the companies offer. Twitter has a attribution, a partial attribution platform. In Snapchat, we can check views. So there are ways to measure brand awareness, but it's not really pure performance like we know from ad tech. So, yes and no. I mean, in general, Facebook and Twitter would want all the audience to monetize through their platform. So, there's a love-hate relationship here. But then on the other side, they help them to generate and increase the audiences. But here, where Soup, the company I mentioned, is interesting, because their full model is around monetization for the celebrities. So as a celeb that uses that platform, you decide if people need to pay to see your posts or for what they need to pay. So you are the king there, as opposed to Facebook and other platforms. And you can see in Instagram and Facebook these celebs sending you, hey, do you want to do a private chat or to see other pictures? Come to Soup. Because only there's a legit monetization way for them to do that. This is a really, really good example to indicate how powerful influencer topic is. Today, reality is that influencers rule the trending searches in the App Store. Why is that the case? Because of the tracking problem. So if I'm a celeb in YouTube or in Instagram, I'll tell my audience, hey, check this app. So people will search for that app. And then that keyword will become very attractive. And then it will become one of the top trending searches. So there is a business model of how much do you need to pay an influencer so that your keyword will be in the trending searches. like in the past we had for burst campaigns for the top 10 ranking in the App Store. This shows the power, the distribution power that this topic has. So are they the real celebrities? I think yes, but that's an open question. Okay, some Hollywood celebs and some YouTube celebs. And I can assume most of you would not be familiar with a lot of the YouTube celebs, but for young adults, that's the opposite. They are the real celebs. All the young adults know them, trust them, believe them, and do what they say. If one of these guys will tell you, hey, here's a new app, install it, massive amount of people will do that. Millions of people will do that. Thank you very much.